not 2, but 3 flushes for your viewing pleasure. We know Red is loving this one. A celebratory shower for a well-deserved win. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. We're really at the end of.
We are at the very
end.
We are at the very end.
Yep.
Only one team of Coon Rapids athletes in action this past week as we started the boys basketball team in the playoffs, and we kind of gave away a little bit in the intro.
No, we didn't.
A little bit. But it's definitely worth talking about. So we're going to do we're going to talk about a couple of basketball games and short show. And then next week, time to wrap up the winter season with a nice little bow.
And if we ever get rid of all this snow, we'll have a spring season eventually.
Eventually. We're hoping the warm weather clears out that snow ASAP.
It may be a late start this year.
So the boys and girls can get outside and play.
Exactly.
Well, we will start, though. The Cardinals, the 5th seed in the Section 7 4A tournament. That meant a trip to Anoka for a quarterfinal matchup with the Tornadoes. Coon Rapids lost 2 very close ball games to Anoka during the regular season, one of them in overtime. Now it was playoffs, and both teams knew it would go down to the wire, and only one would be moving on to Saturday's semifinal round. Tornadoes established the lead early thanks to the big body of Joey Lombard. 6'5" senior dominated the paint all game for the Tornadoes. Off a missed three-pointer, Lombard the rebound, bullies his way back to the basket. He scored the first 5 points of the game and had 19 in the first half. The Cardinals never let the Tornadoes get too far in front. David Osayame throws it down with authority. Just the start of a big night for CR's sophomore star. Coon Rapids tied the game, but Anoka gets back in front. Brody Lake, all of his 12-point came from beyond the arc. 2 3-pointers in each half. Lombard just continues to assert himself down low. Got the bucket and the foul there. Tornadoes up 6 at the half. Different story in the second. Cardinals go on the attack. Senior captain Marshall Holland posting up on his good friend Lombard. Holland had 12 points against Anoka. Cardinals defense smothering the Tornadoes early. Great steal by Reese Mon. Osayame glides in for the finish. Osayame was the spark for a 22-4 run. They put Coon Rapids in front by 12. Sophomore had a career night with 26 points, including, I believe it was 4 flushes in the game. But Anoka made it tough down the stretch, coming back to tie with just under 4 minutes left, and they forced it to be tight to the end. Final seconds. Anoka with the ball, down by 3. Marshall Holland tips the ball away. Mon scrambles. Critical timeout, beautifully done. Got them the ball back with 10 seconds left. Meant the Tornadoes had to foul. Jordan Doe made one of his free throws, so it was a 2-possession game. 3rd year in a row. Cardinals win in the quarterfinal round, this time upsetting the Tornadoes and extending their season. 3rd time in a row. I looked back 2 years ago. They were the high seed in a 4-5 matchup with Anoka, and that one, a dramatic finish, went down to the final seconds, and Carver hit the big 3-pointer to give them the 2-point win. And that was the first time the Cardinals had made the out of the first round of the postseason in 7 years. Now they've done it 3 years in a row. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and you got to, if you're at that game, even if you had a chance to watch it later on television, there was so much excitement in that second half for Coon Rapids. And you give their defense a lot of credit. I thought they did such a nice job of really, obviously, being down by 6 at the break, getting back into the game. And then you look at that last takeaway. Your 2 senior captains, Holland pokes it away, Mon grabs it, makes sure they have possession of it, and they're able to go and close it out.
It was so huge that he was. Not only did he hustle for the ball, but then had the heads up to call the timeout, and gain possession for him. Anoka still had to, I think they had to foul 3 times before they sent somebody to the line, so the Cardinals were able to tick off that much more of those last few seconds. And it was after, remember, a 3-and-1 opportunity on a questionable foul by the Cardinals, made it a 2-point game, or a 3-point game. It was a very exciting finish. I was glad we were there.
And the way Joey Lombard started in that game with 19 points at the break, I thought he was going to end up with 40 the way he was playing and so alone. But again, they just did a nice job. They didn't have the muscle to compete with him, but they had the players that were able to, in the second half, give him enough trouble to limit what he did.
Yeah, he's definitely a fun player to watch.
Well, Saturday's semifinal put the Cardinals up against the top-seeded Blaine Bengals. The Cardinals split the season series with Blaine, so they knew they could beat the Bengals. They were looking to pull off another upset and keep the season alive. Bengals pounce on the Cardinals from the word go and build a big lead from the perimeter. Lucas Larson letting go from the left corner, and they were just warming up. Cardinals defense pressuring, but leaving Jackson Call a wide open look from the right wing. Bengals up by 11 at that point. Now the Bengals certainly they're threatening to run away. Larson, another three from the corner. It was a 21-4 start for the Bengals. Tough hole right there. Now the Cardinals come back big from a big deficit to win the first meeting with Blaine. Trying to do it again. Jackson Aurelius, the steal, had the basket. He had 13 in the game. Nice play to finish there. Rapids not able to dent the lead too much in the first. Marshall Holland hit a late three-pointer, but Blaine, they were up 19 at the half. Down, but not out. Cardinals keep the comeback going into the second. Holland finished with a team-high 16. Nice job there by Marshall Holland. Reese Mon, another big play on the defensive end. He's going to coast. He'll get the bucket and the foul. The Cards got back within 11. Midway through, but the hole was too deep. The Bengals were just too strong. Call all alone down the lane. Blaine had 4 guys in double digits. They went on to with a 64-44 win. Really, they coasted to that score as well. Anytime you're up 21-4 or you're in a hole down 21-4, it makes a big difference in what you want to do in a game.
It changes everything.
All your strategy.
As many years as we've been doing this, as many times as we talked about, just you can't, especially in a playoff game, let yourself fall behind so far, especially that early. They did come back from a 16-point deficit midway through the second half last time. Right. They knew they were capable of it. It wasn't a death blow yet at 21-4, but they weren't really able to whittle it at all. Still 19 at the half. They start to get it back reasonable, and the Bengals just blow it open. Yeah, and at that point, you have to rely on your defense getting takeaways, and then you converting and continuing to get stops. And unfortunately, the Cardinals couldn't do that. Yeah, but still a fun season to watch.
Oh, yeah.
A good group that's leaving, but the excitement of the sophomore class, especially for this program, we'll have a lot to talk about on that end next week on the review show. There is what is happening. One Cinderella story still going as Cambridge Isani upset the 2-seed Duluth East Greyhounds, and they will play Blaine for the championship. That's being held at Elk River on Thursday night.
We're out of sports for the season.
We are done with winter sports, so we will come back next week with a review show, wrap everything up with a nice little bow. But until then, I want to thank everybody out there for joining us, continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.